Imagine this. A cheerful morning news segment, warm studio lighting, a pair of anchors casually chatting about cookies, purple cookies, inspired by Korean street food, made by 7 of the most celebrated artists on the planet. It should have been a feel-good story, a fun, light-hearted 2 minutes of television. And then, one sentence changed everything.
The cream is supposed to taste like the South Korean treat called hotok, which is a brown sugar stuffed pancake that some of the band members say they ate as a kid. It does sound good, right? The cookie's wafer is BTS signature color, purple. The wafers are also engraved with one of 13 designs, which spell out a message to fans when put together, and that is Death to America, which I think is really strange.
In a matter of hours, a local Texas news anchor became the most talked about name in the entire BTS fandom. Clips spread like wildfire. Fans across 6 continents were furious. Brands were being tagged. Demands for firings were trending globally. All because of one joke about cookies that ARMY will never, ever forget. Stay right here, because this story goes deeper than you think. To understand why the world reacted the way it did, we need to go back to the beginning. Not of the controversy, but of the collaboration that sparked it. On May 26, 2026, after a week of teasing, BTS officially unveiled their partnership with OREO, one of the most iconic cookie brands in the world. The limited edition release was inspired by hotok, the beloved Korean brown sugar-filled pancake that BTS members have said shaped their childhoods growing up in South Korea. It featured purple wafers, a first in Oreo's entire history, designed specifically to honor BTS fans, known as ARMY. And that wasn't all. The cookies would feature 13 different embossments created by BTS themselves, celebrating the group's 13th anniversary, including member names, a BTS light stick, and a hidden message spread across 3 cookies for fans to collect and decode. This was a dream collaboration, a cultural moment, and it was about to be hijacked. Before we get to the controversy, let's sit with what this collaboration actually meant. RM, Jin, Suga, J-Hope, Jimin, V, and Jungkook, 7 men who grew up eating Oreo cookies as kids, were now designing their own. A cookie created by BTS, dedicated to BTS fans. In BTS's own words, "We ate them as kids, we eat them in the studio, and now Oreo is helping us share a taste of home with the world. We're just so proud to add our own chapter to Oreo's amazing story." Think about that. 7 boys from South Korea, who once dreamed of making it past their own borders, were now launching a global product across 80 countries. Their childhood snack, reimagined, for millions of fans who love them on every continent. This wasn't just a cookie. This was a story about belonging, about culture, about pride. And someone decided to make it a punchline. James Epler is a news anchor at KCBD Fox 34 in Lubbock, Texas. On May 26th, he was presenting a segment about the BTS and Oreo collaboration on the morning show, Good Day Lubbock. The segment started normally enough. Epler introduced the product, noted the hot talk-inspired flavor, and mentioned the significance of the 13 cookie embossments. Then, without warning, everything shifted. The cookie's wafer is BTS's signature color, purple. The wafers are also engraved with one of 13 designs, which spell out a message to fans when put together, and that is Death to America, which I think is really strange, Epler said. Death to America. On a morning show about cookies, about a K-pop boy band's 13th anniversary celebration. Even Epler's co-anchor sounded stunned in real time, clearly confused why he'd connect BTS and a sweet treat to such a harsh anti-American message. After his co-hosts appeared visibly surprised, Epler immediately laughed and corrected himself, saying, "No, it's not." But the damage? It was already done, and ARMY was watching. Within hours, the clip was everywhere. Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, YouTube. Fan accounts with millions of followers were sharing it, with captions ranging from shock to outright rage. One fan wrote, "Joking about death to America while reporting on the BTS OREO collab was extremely unprofessional and reckless." Others directed their anger at OREO directly, writing, "It's defamatory and damaging to both your brand and your brand ambassadors. We respectfully ask OREO if their brand endorses this type of hateful and xenophobic comment. Otherwise, we demand a response and an apology." And some went further still. Fans wrote, "James Epler's racist comment about BTS and the OREO collaboration is dangerous and incites hate toward BTS. Racism and xenophobia cannot be ignored. Hold him accountable publicly." Within 24 hours, the hashtags were global. The station was being flooded with messages. Journalists were reaching out to KCBD Fox 34 and to Texas Tech University, where Epler also teaches as an adjunct professor. But here's the question no one could quite answer yet. Was this malice? Or was it just a badly misjudged joke gone terribly, terribly wrong? Coming up, we dig deeper. And what we find reveals something much bigger than one anchor in Texas. Here's the truth that every BTS fan watching this already knows in their bones. This wasn't the first time. And that's exactly why the reaction was so visceral. For over a decade, BTS has faced a very specific kind of resistance in the Western media landscape. Dismissal, mockery, the suggestion, sometimes subtle, sometimes not, that their success was somehow less legitimate, that their fans were somehow less serious, that their culture was somehow other. BTS broke every record imaginable. They topped the Billboard Hot 100. They sold out stadiums across 6 continents. They made their grand return to music in 2026 with Arirang, which debuted atop the Billboard 200 and spawned their 7th Billboard Hot 100 #1 hit. But still, a morning news anchor's first instinct when handed a segment about their cookie collaboration was to link their fan message to a terrorist slogan. ARMY didn't just see a bad joke. They saw a pattern, and they weren't going to let it slide. Let's set the record straight, because the truth of what those cookies actually say matters. BTS designed the 13 embossments to celebrate their 13th anniversary. The designs include member names, a BTS light stick, and a hidden message spread across 3 specific cookies, a message for fans to collect and decode. Complex? A message of love, of connection, of gratitude between 7 artists and the millions of people around the world who have followed their journey since 2013. Inspired by the fandom's letter-writing tradition, this hidden cookie message was ARMY's gift, something to search for, to piece together, to treasure. PR Newswire? Not a threat, not a political statement, a love letter, baked into purple wafers in a brown sugar pancake-flavored cookie, inspired by a Korean street snack. The contrast between what those cookies actually represent and what that anchor claimed they said couldn't be more complete. And yet, no apology came. Not publicly. Not yet. As of the time this story broke widely, there was no word on an apology from Epler or Fox 34. TMZ reported they had reached out to Epler's station and to Texas Tech University for comment, and were still waiting. Complex TMZ. And that silence, for ARMY, it was almost worse than the joke itself. Because here's what fans understand about moments like this. It's not just about one man's words. It's about whether institutions, news stations, universities, corporate brands take anti-Asian bias seriously, whether they hold people accountable, whether they see the harm. BTS has spoken openly about the anti-Asian racism they and their fans have faced, particularly in the years following the COVID-19 pandemic. The wave of hate crimes against Asian communities was real. The spike in anti-Asian sentiment was documented and devastating. And so when a news anchor on live television, even jokingly, connects a beloved Korean group's fan message to one of the most loaded, violent phrases in modern political rhetoric, ARMY hears something that goes far beyond a bad sense of humor. They hear, "You don't belong here." But here is where the story turns, because BTS's story has always turned, always risen, always answered darkness with something brighter. Think about where they started. A small company, a group of young men who were told repeatedly that the global music industry wasn't built for them, that Western audiences wouldn't connect, that the language barrier was too high, that K-pop had a ceiling. They shattered every single one of those ceilings, one record at a time, one stadium at a time, one ARMY at a time. In 2026 alone, they returned to the music scene, debuted at #1, launched a world tour, and became the first snacking brand global collaboration partner OREO has ever worked with from the K-pop world. Moments like the Epler segment, painful as they are, don't define BTS's legacy. They reveal the gap between where the world still is and where BTS has already arrived. And ARMY makes sure the world catches up. Let's talk about what ARMY actually did in the 48 hours after that clip went viral. They didn't just tweet. They organized. They tagged. They documented. They contacted OREO's official accounts and asked, directly, articulately, whether the brand would stand by its collaboration partners. They filed feedback through broadcast regulation channels. They sent letters. They didn't use hate. They used precision. Because that is what ARMY does. That is what makes this fandom unlike any other force in modern pop culture. They turned a moment that could have been buried, a local Texas morning segment in a mid-sized media market, into a global conversation about anti-Asian bias in media, about accountability in journalism, and about what it means to be a true ally to artists who have given the world so much. One clip, one bad joke, and ARMY turned it into a referendum on respect. So where does this go from here? As of this reporting, KCBD Fox 34 had not responded publicly, and no apology had been issued by Epler or the station. Whether that changes, whether accountability comes, remains to be seen. But what will not be unseen is the clip itself, the stunned co-anchors, the laugh, the quick, "No, it's not," and the fact that for even one moment, a man with a microphone and a platform thought it was acceptable or funny to connect BTS to those words. BTS are 13 years into a career that has changed music, changed culture, changed the way the world talks about Korean art and identity. They designed cookies that carry hidden love letters to their fans. They named a Hotok-flavored wafer after the snack that reminds them of home. They built something extraordinary from nothing against every wall that was put in front of them. And they deserve to have that celebrated, completely, fully, without the shadow of a xenophobic punchline. There is a version of this story that ends with one bad joke and a quick correction. A blip. A forgettable local news moment that nobody remembers by next week. But ARMY made sure this wasn't that version. Because ARMY understands something that goes beyond fandom. They understand that visibility matters. that silence enables. That when artists who look like BTS, who come from where BTS comes from, are subjected to this kind of casual dismissal on live television, it sends a message to every young person of Korean heritage, every Asian kid watching from their bedroom, every fan who has been told their love for this music is a phase or a joke. It says, not yet, not quite, not fully. And ARMY's answer, every single time, is watch us. BTS made a cookie that tastes like home. They spent 13 years building a bridge between Seoul and the rest of the world. They did it with music, with honesty, with tears and laughter and a purple light sea of fans who refuse to let them be made small. One news anchor in Lubbock, Texas could not stop that. Nothing can. The cookies are purple. The message is love. And ARMY will always, always make that clear.
Before I go, I want to ask you something, and I want you to think about it genuinely. When you see moments like this, a careless joke, a casual bias, a microphone given to someone who didn't think before they spoke, what do you do? Do you scroll past, or do you make noise? ARMY chose noise, and I think that says everything about the kind of fandom BTS has built. Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Did Epler deserve to be called out this hard? Should OREO have responded? And what does this moment mean for BTS's legacy as they continue the Arirang World Tour? If you're new to Zenk Pop, welcome! This is what we do here. We don't just report on K-pop stories, we go deep. We tell the full story. We honor what these artists actually mean to the world. Hit subscribe so you never miss a video. Hit like if this story moved you, and share this with an ARMY friend, because this conversation deserves to keep going. This has been Zenk Pop, and as always, Purple You.